Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You've got a double act to close off, and you got a double act to just close off. And one of the first things that Alan did ask, just after lunchtime, and we're running a bit late, we will be finished by 20 past. So don't go by your agendas. I am not Jonathan Ayland. He's about this high, and he's probably next door. I am Gary Cooper, the Managing Director of PPL Training, and I've got my glamorous assistant, Richard Parker Wood, who is assisting me. Now, what we want to just talk about is the importance of not just fire safety training, but just that hands-on training element on anything that we do. And I'll sort of discuss the whys and wherefores. But obviously, this presentation is just kind of showing you what we do as PPL Training. However, all through the course of today, even from the start from Lee, and then a number of the other presentations, one of the key words was competency. Now, okay, a training provider will not make your respective delegates competent, but we will try and train that individual to then develop them to be competent. And that training element has got to be this sort of hands-on sort of stuff. What we're going to talk about is just basically, why is it important to have this hands-on element? Also, I'll introduce you to a bit of PPL, who we are, what we do, etc., and also show you where we do actually do the training delivery. I'll introduce you to who actually delivers our training at present, and we'll look at sort of what training is available and how it's assessed. So for those of you who don't know PPL, we are one of the leading training providers in sort of technical compliance. A lot of what we do is very safe systems of work orientated, FM organizations, healthcare, MOD, etc. And more recently, over the past 12, 18 months, through collaboration with Sean and Air Projects, Golden Thread, etc., we recognized sort of just a gap in the market, especially with the healthcare side of life. People aren't testing dampers, they aren't checking the fire doors, etc. So we went into the fire safety management. We've got around about sort of 50,000 foot of training facility. That's located predominantly in York and Slough, and we've got a sort of small offering in Livingston. Got around about sort of 30 classrooms to which we deliver around about a portfolio of, say, 80, 90 courses. 90% of those courses have a practical element, because even through COVID, when we were trying to develop sort of the on-site training and things like that, clients weren't interested, and even the structure of the courses itself didn't allow us to take away this practical element. We've got around about sort of 30 trainers in the actual company itself, and very knowledgeable. So we kind of are very well placed in the market. All our courses are either Sitting Guilds approved, BTEC approved. We've got close associations with IHEAM and AUE with the universities, and thankfully what we're doing is kind of working. So back to the original question, why do we actually want this hands-on element? Guaranteed, if you want fire safety training, you can go online, put it in Google, and somebody will be offering you a 4-hour course online to tick the box. Is that sufficient? The problem with that, okay, you'll end up getting this textbook learning, but then people who undertake sort of condensed courses, their interpretation of what they see on that screen might not be the right sort of interpretation as such. If we can get these people in the same environment, face-to-face training, it should work. We want to allow the delegates to physically touch and appreciate what we're actually trying to deliver. And when you look at the sort of course materials that we've got, it is about showing them the goods and the bads of fire door surveys, the goods and the bads of fire damper testing. And that's essentially what we focused on when we were developing the facilities. As well as the functional aspect, you can also factor in the safety side as well, using the PPE, making sure you've got control of the environment when you're doing the tests, etc., so on and so forth. So it's just trying to bring everything together to then allow this facility to be a benefit to the actual delegates. Obviously, everything that we deliver is either based on legislation, and we've spoken about legislation quite a bit today, but also British standards, guidelines, etc., so on and so forth. So it's trying to put that legislation and put it into a more practical sense to then gain a better understanding for the delegates. And the only way you can gain that understanding is to actually take the thing to bits, get it in your hands, play around with it, and actually use it as it's designed to be used. How do we do that then? Well, over the past, like I say, over the past 18 months, we acquired a number of buildings, and the concept was just mainly, okay, let's try and get fire doors, let's try and get fire stopping, fire dampers, put them all into one facility. And the easiest sort of facility of that was like a corridor effect. I've got a video just to show you what we've actually developed. But the whole principle, whether it be north or south, it's showing you examples of the goods. You can get your hands on safely to sort of drop the fire dampers, etc., so on and so forth. But then the other part of the actual course delivery is going into the facility to then try and drop test that damper when it's covered with pipework, cabling, whatever it may be, and try and put a bit of realism into it. That realism can show you, hopefully, is this video going to work? Throughout the dramatic music, you'll have noticed one superstar throughout the video, and that's obviously the person who delivers the majority of our fire safety training, who is the man stood beside me. I'll just sort of allow him to introduce himself a little bit more in a second, but Richard's been with us 18 months. He's developed all the course material. He's been a key element of what we've been trying to put forward, and thankfully, the sort of testimonials that we do get are sort of working. I must admit, the pace of the willingness of people booking on the courses has been somewhat slow, despite quite a bit of feedback from some of our providers saying it's a very good venue, etc. But it's back to the old adage of who is actually driving the fire safety training element when you compare it to the compliance side. Our technical compliance side is far, far in advance to the fire safety side, whereas realistically it should be the same, shouldn't it? But obviously, Richard himself, I'll allow him just to introduce you, and then we'll look at the courses that we deliver.
You're not going to give me a glowing introduction and as such. Hi everyone, I am obviously Richard Parker-Wood, and I've been with PPL, as Gary said there, for about 18 months now. I have previous experience in fire and rescue service. I was an enforcement officer up in Humberside for the local fire brigade there for just over 10 years, dealing with everything from the good, the bad to pretty much everything in between. So thankfully, because of that, my experience allows me to have a unique viewpoint when people are coming in and they're able to ask certain questions that I've hopefully seen at some point. There's very few things that surprise me out there now. I'm sure you guys see it very, very often yourselves, some of the situations there. Dealing with the enforcement side, one of the benefits, I suppose, of having me is ordinarily you're not really going to get to sit in a room with enforcement officers that don't want to enforce for some reason, whereas I'm there now to give that advice, to give that knowledge, and to try and pass on the information that I have. That's me, really. If you want to...
So, what do we teach?
What do we teach? Fire safety. So we have a number of courses that we actually teach there. We deal with the majority of one-day introductory courses, awareness courses, things to be able to kind of give that basic knowledge that's needed for people. I'll just mention how we actually go about doing our courses and assessment, and then I'll move on to the actual courses themselves. But we look to give the input that's needed during the day, and supplement that with interactive hands-on experience, which obviously the title of our presentation is that hands-on experience. There's an exam at the end of, or a knowledge quiz, fun quiz, I've been told to call it, rather than exam or end assessment. Thank you. And it's all about that being supplemented, as I say, with the practical hands-on inspection. The end goal, basically, to make sure that people have that experience. It's all well and good reading it in a textbook, seeing it online. This is how it should be in the ideal world, but we all know that's not what we have. It's been mentioned more than once today about the real life situations that we actually encounter when we get there into our own premises and see the issues that are in front of us. So which courses do we do? There's a nice list of them. Fire Safety Technical Awareness is our 3-day course, that one, and what we do in that is we try to give you the overall technical awareness that you might expect to need to be able to deal with it, certainly in the healthcare world as well. Fire door surveys and inspections, fire and smoke damper surveys and inspections, fire stopping, again, surveys and inspections. In that facility that you saw, again, we've got examples in there, good, bad, everything in between. Hopefully, if the input's good enough, which I'd like to say it is most of the time, I don't get that many complaints, we go through with the actual input, we go down there, and the delegates will identify the issues that are there. It ranges from simple things on the doors, such as a missing intermittent strip, not an intermittent one, missing intermittent strip, just the smoke seal, somebody's pulled it off, a missing screw out of one of the hinges that somebody's notoriously just taken out the very bottom one to try and catch people out. It can be the fixings in the frame to the wall. There are a whole manner of different issues and problems for them to find. The dampers, some with still the installation, the transit tapes still present and actually on there. So we do try and make it as real, as interactive as possible in that aspect. We've also got responsible person courses. We've got one for the commercial world, if you like, and one for the healthcare world, because obviously the HTM documents is a little bit more of a stringent Bible for that healthcare world than the other guidance documents you may find in the commercial world. Escape lighting, alarm systems as well, both in domestic and commercial environments there. The technical awareness training, as I say, I mentioned it, but basically it's kind of half-a-day chunks of everything that we offer, and we try and boil it down into those more manageable chunks to be able to pass on. Responsible person's a term that's been thrown about a couple of times today. How do you even know you're the responsible person is a question that often got asked. You'd want to go in and try and find the responsible person in a previous life as an enforcing officer. Who is responsible? And sometimes that was a more difficult task than anything else. We go through the basics, what they should know, their understanding of everything. Then we go on to the alarm systems. We go on to again, in half a day, you can't go through everything, can you? It's difficult. But in that half a day, we go through some basic requirements. We go through testing regimes, maintenance regimes that we've lifted from the guidance documents. Same with the emergency lighting, the doors, the dampers, and the stopping. We try and give an overview and a flavour of the actual guidance out there, the legislation out there, what the requirements are, and what the best practice is, and then let's go try and put it into practice downstairs in the facility. As I mentioned, the responsible person one, that one, a little bit more intense on the legislation, the guidance side of things, because that's about giving that responsible person the awareness that they need to have to be the responsible person. Again, the times and times that you find people have absolutely no idea with what they should be doing, what they need to be doing in line with those guidance and legislative requirements. We go through them, teach them the basics of the principles of prevention, protection, the risk assessment, sort of fundamentals, and then those maintenance and testing needs that outcome from that. The survey and inspection training, one of the best ones that we offer by far, purely because of the fact that it's got that practical experience. You get to go down. We've got things there such as cut-through fire doors, so you can see how it's made up, something you might never get to see in your normal working life. We've got anti-barricade doors with the double action hinges. Again, different things, different aspects that day to day you maybe never come across, but to have that awareness and to have that knowledge, it fuels that benefit that you're going to get from there. The fire door course, obviously we worked closely with Alan at the time, and we developed the course to mimic that document as well. So the healthcare booklet that you've all got, the fire door inspection booklet that you've all got today as well, that is something that we look to give the information on, and it's one of the handouts on that course to be able to ensure that people are following this guide, this brilliant reference point to work towards.
And that's it.
That's it. Yeah, a minute and 50 seconds.
It was nearly red or green wire time there, wasn't it?
Do you know any jokes?
Now, just on the training side, just to close, we are never going to make your sort of delegates industry specialists. This is the lower end of the sort of the scale with the respects of just giving the guys the sort of knowledge that they can identify the defects to then do something about it, rather than repair the fire door, repair the stopping, etc., so on and so forth. Likewise, which is why the courses are 1 day, etc., so on and so forth. So, but I mean, obviously, I think the stands have all been broken down anyway. But if you do have any sort of questions on the training side of life, PPLtraining.co.uk is on the website. You can easily catch us straight away. Or if you are already familiar with PPL in your course level or whatever, then obviously you can contact us accordingly. Happy enough?
Yeah. Thank you.